Okay.
Okay, today we're going to learn if the Inyan of Achnosas Orchim, if it's Midaraisa, Midrabanon, where we see such a mitzvah in Torah of Achnosas Orchim. So we start something from the Siddur today. We're learning from the Siddur. We're saying every morning, Elu Dvarim Shalom, Shiur, Apeva, Bikurim, and then we're saying over there also, Elu Dvarim Shalom Oichel Peirasem V'Olam Hazeh V'Akeren Kayemes L'Olam Haba V'Elu Hen Kibud Avohem Gvulis Chasodim V'Ashkemaz V'Samed Shachris V'Aris V'Achnosas Orchim. So it's a big mitzvah. But where it says in Torah, the Rabbanon, the mitzvah of Achnosas Orchim. Okay, if you know Makor. Now, if we look at that Mishnah, where this Mishnah Elu Dvarim, it's in Maseches Peah. It is the first Mishnah of Maseches Peah. Elu Dvarim Shalom Shiur. Yeah, and over there is not mentioned anything about Achnosas Orchim. If you look in the Mishnah of Maseches Peah, Elu Hapeva Bikurim V'Arang Gvulis Chasodim V'Salmut Torah. Elu Dvarim Shalom Oichel Peirasem V'Olam Hazeh V'Aken Gvulis Kibud Avohem Gvulis Chasodim V'Shalom Shebnei L'Chaveiro V'Salmut Torah Keneged Kulam. Doesn't mention anything in the original Mishnah of Peah. Doesn't mention anything about Achnosas Orchim. Now, so. The emphasis is there is brises they do mention Achnosas Orchim, and then a lot of Sidurim follow this brise. It's in Kiddushin in Daf Lametes Amud Beis. It says like this: Elu Dvarim Shalom Oichel Peirasem V'Olam Hazeh V'Akeren Kayemes L'Olam Haba V'Elu Hen Kibud Avohem Gvulis Chasodim V'Achnosas Orchim. That's mentioned in the brise in Maseches Kiddushin. You know Achnosas Orchim. Okay, so we know already it's not only in the Siddur. It comes from the brise in Maseches Kiddushin, but we still don't know where is Makor. That where it says it's a clearly it's a mitzvah esed, a raisa, a drabonon. We don't know that. It's a good inyan, but we want to know that good inyan where it's taken from. Now, if we will look also in Maseches Shabbos, there is things that things converge to halacha. Not only sometimes it's a good deed, a good inyan to do, but we see it's a mitzvah mamash. There's a Mishnah in Maseches Shabbos. The Mishnah says over there, "Mefanin afilu arba v'chamesh kupes shel teven v'shel tvua mipnei ha'orchen mipnei bitul besamedrash." Meaning, if you have guests coming to you on Shabbos, and you have in the home some baskets of grain or straw. Normally on Shabbos, the big baskets, we don't move them as tircha she'en, it's like you cannot start moving bookcase on Shabbos. It's not a specific melacha, just tircha she'lo letzorich. But if it's covered bes medrash, you need place to learn. For Achnosas Orchim, you're allowed to do that. You see over here, such a big mitzvah. Achnosas Orchim, it's like learning in bes medrash, place to daven and learn. So we will make a place for it. So the Gemara, and this goes in Daf Kuf Chav Zayin. The Gemara says there's three inyanim on this inyan of Achnosas Orchim. Amar Rav Yochanan, G'doy Achnosas Orchim kashkomas besamedrash. It's so great the mitzvah Achnosas Orchim, like getting up and going to learn, to study, to learn the Ketone that says in the Mishnah, Mipnei ha'orchim, Mipnei bitul besamedrash. First Orchim it says. So if according to Rabbi Yochanan, he doesn't want the first Orchim. No, that's the second opinion. It's equal to Rabbi Yochanan. It's equal. Inyan of besamedrash going to and Achnosas the same thing. Then he said this, Rav Dimi min Ardo amar yoser mashkemas besamedrash. The Ketone mipnei orchin v'adar mipnei bitul besamedrash. According to Rav Dimi, it's even greater than Ashkemas besamedrash because it says in the Mishnah says first Achnosas Orchim, then Ashkemas besamedrash. Now, Amar Rav Yudah Amar Rav. That's a very famous what Rav Yudah says over here. Gedoyel Achnosas Orchim ma'akbolas pnei shechina. When we learn the story in the Torah when Avraham Avinu, when he took Orchim over there, it's mentioned over there. It says Kabbalas Achnosas Orchim is greater than Kabbalas pnei shechina. Vayomer Hashem im no motzos chen beinach al nos Avraham el avdecha. This speak Yerushim over there in the Gemara Shavuos whether he spoke to the greater Oreach over there or he spoke to Hashem. So according to one man the Omar it's Kodesh. Vayomer Hashem, it says over there the Shem Aleph Dalet Nun Yud that doesn't talk like a master to the guest, talks to Hashem, says to Hashem, let me take care of the guest and I'll come back to you. What do you mean? Talking to Hashem? You're talking, wait, let me take care of my Orchim. They're going to say, yeah. G'doy Achnosas Orchim yoysom ma'akbolas pnei shechina. So he told Hashem, wait, let me take care of my mitzvah. Okay, so we see it's a big mitzvah, but still, all this, we don't see l'choira over here, any place that it says in the Torah, Tachnis Orchim, like it says in the Ukshartim Lois Al Yadecha, put tefillin. We don't see it in the Rabbanon. We see it in Yoni, we see it in the Mishnahs, but where it says there's a mitzvah of Achnosas Orchim, we still don't know. We see it's a great Indian. We see it, but where it says it's a mitzvah, what mitzvah are you doing? What mitzvah? So it's interesting in the Gemara, in we have a few Gemara that they give some hint of it, and Shabbos in Daf Kuf Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis says like this: Abba Shaul Omer, v'anveyu have a doimela. When we say Zekeli v'anveyu, we say this in the Shiur every day. We say this. What's Keli v'anveyu? Two pirushim. One pirush, a famous one. Esnoy lefanav b'mitzvah anveyu meloshen noy. I'll do whatever the mitzvahs I do. I'll do it in a nice way. The second pirush is Abba Shaul. Zekeli v'anveyu. Anveyu have a doimela. Anivu meaning I'll be like him, like Hashem. What do you mean? Ma'u chanun v'rachum. If Hashem is in midst of chanun v'rachum, af ato hey chanun v'rachum. We also be chanun v'rachum. V'anaveyu, anivu, I'll be like him. What do you mean I'll be like him? He's chanun v'rachum. I have to learn from him to be chanun v'rachum. Okay, so we could say maybe that's inyan of achnazos orchim as poshut mitzad midas rachmanos. If somebody needs where to stay, where to eat, it's from those close the mitzvahs of trying to be like Hashem. Take the midas, learn from Hashem is midas. Now there's a more specifically in Soita Daf Yudalit. The Gemara says, "Amar Rab Chama bar Rab Chanina, May dichsiv achrei Hashem elokechem telechu." There's a pasuk, go after Hashem. V'chi efshar lo la'odam lalach achrei Shechina. What do you mean go after? What are you going to follow him? V'alok v'nema ki amar Hashem esh och lahu. Meaning the idea is obviously Hashem is not physical, it's not fire, it's not all the comparison to what we're saying to Hashem, it's all not physical. Meaning, same thing, you cannot touch a fire, you cannot follow a fire, you cannot follow Hashem. Meaning you're way above us. So what do you mean try to go after Hashem? The Gemara answers, that's Rab Chanina, he says, Elo, lahalech achar midoisov shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yeah, there's something you could relate to Hashem, to try to mimic his midas. Ma'u malbish arumim. Hashem dresses up Arumim like by Adam and Ishtar Chava. He offered them clothing. Hashem helped some people needs to dress. He also do this. You see somebody needs help to buy clothing, you help him out. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Bikar Cholim. Hashem did Bikar Cholim. He went to visit people that not well. There's the same parsha we talk about the Achnas Orchim over there. We need the Achnas Orchim. Af ato Bakar Cholim. Nichem Avelim, Hashem did Nichem Avelim. Dichsiv, Vahi achar Mois Avram, Vahivorech Elokim es Yitzchak b'noi. Meaning Hashem went to Yitzchak, the bracha was Birkas Avelim. Because Nichem Avelim. You didn't say, you lost your father, give Nichem Avelim. Afata Nachem Avelim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu koiver meisim. Dichsiv, Vahikvar oiso bagay, Afata koiver meisim. But Moshe Rabbeinu, Vahikvar oiso bagay, it says, you also do this. According to this, we could say maybe. Okay? So the idea of Bikur Choilim, all this idea, something Achnas Orchim, part of it, you have to be nice to people that need help. So that's one of this idea. Achrei Hashem Elokechem telechu. That's what the pasuk in Torah. Achrei Hashem Elokechem telechu. That's a general. By the way, it's a pasuk in Dvorim. Lamed Yud Gimel. Dvorim Yud Gimel. Yeah. So it means go after Hashem. Go on a ways of Hashem, and that's why Chesed. That's part of Chesed. Achnas Orchim is part of Chesed. Oh, so Lamaisa we see
going in his footsteps.
Sorry.
Going after him, going in his footsteps.
Of
Hashem.
Yeah, following his midas. Yeah. Now the Lamaisa again, and it's big enough. Come in the Halacha. The Halacha, if Achnas Orchim, it's a mitzvah. Like the Gemara says, you could do certain things to do Achnas Orchim. Now the Halacha, it's brought this in Shin Lamed Gimel, the Hilchas Shabbos. This Halacha brought Halacha. What we do with this? We'll talk about some details of mitzvahs of Achnas Orchim. So it says over here like this. The Torah brings it. Mish Eshlo Orchim b'Shabbos. If you have guest Shabbos, v'en la mokem lachnisam, you have no room for them. Or she'en la mokem lebes hamedrash, or you have a shul, more people coming, you need more to make room. V'yesh lo oitzer tvua, you have a pile of baskets of grain of tvua. It says yochel lefanoisa b'Shabbos. You could move it on Shabbos. It's a lachnis orchim to bring the guest. Or lifnes mokem lebes hamedrash. Aval shelo letzorich mitzvah osur lefanoisa. Mashma over here, l'tzorech orchim, it's a mitzvah. Because if it wouldn't be tzorech mitzvah, you wouldn't be allowed to move it. It's mamash a mitzvah. Again, we still don't know like a clear pasuk in Torah, the Rabban saying it's a mitzvah so and so, mitzvah's number this. It doesn't say that. It's just a general mitzvah. Achrei Hashem Elokechem telechu. It's part of the chasodim of human beings helping each other. That's a mitzvah. Now, it's interesting. The Beis Yosef brings over here. Now we're going to some details of what's the definition of Achnas Orchim. Because of B'trumas Hadeshin. The shvus, the shora mishum mitzvah, what we're allowed to do such a thing to move the tvua on Shabbos. It says what we allowed is be'orchin shabo leveiso. We're talking about guests came to your house to stay with you. מדברים בהדי בפרק מפנים. גודל הכנס אורחים ממיtzat בית המדרש. ואוסם נמי ישבוס דה שבוס קוי. אומנם, אם זה מן אורחים, that's the punchline, that's very, very practical. אם זה מן אורחים ליסות סעודו בבייסוי, it's very common. we invite people for Shabbos meals or any other Yom Tov Shabbos or any Simcha. Avalonis archu etzle. They didn't stay by me. They didn't stay to sleep over. In this case, according to this, that's not such a mitzvah that it would be allowed to do shvus, meaning over there it's going to be a shtickle muktzeh, the grain. Nobody eats raw grain. So you're allowed to move it for tzerech mitzvah to make room or tirchesh lo letzorech. We're allowed to do it for you for the mitzvah. But if it's not such a big mitzvah, meaning people come to you for Sudas Shabbos, and they're not sleeping overnight, it's not the definition of oreach. The real oreach is coming with a full stay by you. And by the way, also the poskim bring, if somebody charges money for it, it's not anymore a reach. A reach meaning you are hosting him. If you're charging money, it's a hotel. It's not mitzvah already. It's business. So if you're hosting him with a stay, the Mele says you could do it. But if not, if you're just going for a meal, you cannot do this for him. The one says people come from the field, they have nowhere to stay. It's a big mitzvah. It's a chesed for them. After the Mikol Mokim, then the Trumas Hadeshin he concludes. The Mikol Mokim and L'chalek at Kan L'shon. But maybe we say maybe you could do it even for the guest comes just for the meal. Then the Beis Yosef Nav says, "Tzorich loymar." The lav mezamen as chaver sheizas etzla mayred. He pshita the is a shooting. No, he says he's not talking about if just somebody came to you for a meal. That's special. Definitely, the Beis Yosef clarifies the Trumas that he explained. That's not called mitzvah. No, that's a social. You enjoy eating with your friend. You tell him to come over. That's not called mitzvah. The enbo mitzvah klal. That's what he says. According to this, so far, I'm going to talk about this also in a minute. But so far, the way Beis Yosef saying, if you have somebody come to you for a meal, that's not a philosophy. That's enbo mitzvah klal. He says it's you. It's a social thing that you enjoy to hang out with your friend.
What about hang out being and also sleeping over also?
Very good, very good. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Very good. Ella beorchin. Watch orchin. She is archu etzel echad. We're talking with the Trumas Hadeshin. His suffix was the original. Maybe yes, maybe not. Talking about you get a guest at home. It says, "V'zimnom acher lisot suuda beveisay." Also the mesapkele. Think like this: somebody went to sleep by my neighbor. Then I invited him. I said, "I know you're sleeping over my neighbor, but come to me for the meal." So it says that was the Sobek Trumas Hadeshin. That's like there's 3 levels of here. One, that you're giving him a full fledged of hosting him, with eating, sleeping. That's for sure it's a mitzvah. Then the second, the other extreme, that's no mitzvah according to the way the Beis Yosef understand, that you're just coming for the meal. He's your neighbor, he has what to eat, you just want to sit down together with him. That's not a mitzvah. We're talking about somebody, he is a guest in town. He's not staying by you, he's staying by your neighbor. And you telling him, come eat by me, at least he'll do the sleeping mitzvah, give you a place to sleep, I'll give you the meal. That's about the sabbath, that's the shtickle mitzvah also, he says. That's what he says, maybe it's also a mitzvah. Because this man is not, he doesn't have where to eat a meal, either by your neighbor or by you. But just a social thing, he says, it's not a mitzvah. That's the conclusion of the Beis Yosef. According to it would be, we all have people coming, going Friday night, Shabbos morning, meal, lunch, we invite each other for Yom Tov. What, it's all this is not mitzvah at all? It's stam hanging out? Okay, so we're going to talk in a minute. So here's this what the Ramo brings in Shulchan Aruch. The Ramo copied this Beis Yosef Halacha. It says like this. Again, all this in Shin Lamed Gimel. The whole shvul she'itiru mishum tzorich mitzvah mutar gam ken letzorich orchim. Again, this archim meaning they're sleeping over by him, or you invited guests. This follows on the sheet of the Beis Yosef. You're inviting a guest that's not, he's out of town, he's sleeping by someone else, but you told him, come eat by me. That's called Orech. If you invited your neighbor, next door neighbor, he has where to eat, he has a house, listen, the Eno Sudas Mitzvah, Sudas Rashus. Doesn't tell you this. Also, Sudas Rashus meaning it's not mitzvah. For that you cannot move around, you cannot do any shvus, the Rabbanon, that's not called mitzvah.
So they call him homeless, basically. Only homeless are guests.
I can't call a guest a homeless, he will be insulted if you call him homeless. Yeah, but meaning right now in town, by the way, some tzaddikim, the last generation, I forgot what was the Gera, but the Belzer, they said today, if somebody walking on the street, and he needs to walk a mile or two, and you see him, you're giving him a ride, this is Achnas Zorchim. This is, today with a car, you could do Achnas Zorchim too, because he right now desperate for it's hot or cold or raining, and you give him a ride, this is Achnas Zorchim. That's different form, but the idea of Achnas Zorchim, you're giving him something that he really needs it now. It's helping him a lot, not just because you're hanging out together. Okay, now, the Taz on this Ramah says like this. פשוט שאין בכלל זה המזמן חבר לא בס לכבוד אורח הבו אצלו, שגם חבר בכלל אורח ליון זה. קודם כל שאלה של this mitzvah. מחדש another detail. Let's say you have a choshev gas sitting by you. Stay over. And you're telling your neighbor, I know what, I have a very choshev gas, a very good friend of mine, come, also join me for the meal. you're going to see my friend, or you're going to see this choshev guest that I have. That's also called Sudas Mitzvah, he's saying. For this guy, also you could move things to make him the oreach that come to see the your oreach. You mean a neighbor that comes to eat by you now join you because you have a oreach. So that's according to the Taz. Now, the Magen Avraham is like this. The Magen Avraham, he disagrees with this Taz really. Why? He brings a raya. He says Rav used to go to a Su'udah, the Gemara in Chulin says, and he says it was Sudas HaReshus. And he did not eat over there. Pirish Rashi, Sudas HaReshus. What's Sudas HaReshus? He was in a chasna. Why Sudas HaReshus? It's Sudas Mitzvah. It says, Kagoin Bas Talmudum Lam Oretz. If a daughter of Talmud marries Am Oretz, it's not Sudas Mitzvah. Because the whole Chacham didn't like this shidduch. Bas Talmudum should be married to Talmud Chacham. What it says, the Choyre says, the balabos makes a mitzvah, but for them it's Sudas HaReshus. So the Machzah Shekel brings a raya, l'choire, why for everybody it's Sudas HaReshus? Rav is over there. Rav is a choshev guy, so it's maybe should be Sudas Mitzvah for him. See, from here he says that's not called Sudas Mitzvah. He says. Yeah. Anyway, like this now. I want to just focus on one thing. Let's conclude this. There's no. I didn't again, unless somebody's going to find such a mitzvah in Torah, Rabbanon, mitzvah tzachnos. There's no really. We're learning this from Chazal that they said it's a big mitzvah because v'alachta b'drochav l'chor as part of the chasodim. Now, the only thing left to clarify over here from the Gemara and the poskim mashma have to be some kind of inyan of mitzvah that you're really helping him. It's a chesed for him because he's out of town. Where would he stay? You give him a place to stay to eat. That's called a real oreach. Mashma from here, a social gathering. Mashma, it's not a mitzvah. L'choira, it's not so poshut. I'll tell you why. There's a Gemara in Sanhedrin. Daf Kuf Gimel Amud Beis. Omar, the Gemara praises over here the idea of that social gathering. Yeah, a social gathering. There is a mile to it. Omar Rav Yochanan Mishum Rav Yosef ben Kisma. Gedoyle legima. Legima means drinking or eating by somebody. Shir chiko shte mishpochas me Yisrael, because they didn't do achnas orchim. We were rejected them. Shneimar al davar shelo kitmo eschem balechem u'bamayim. Moyov ve'edoim. We're not allowed to take gerim from them. Why? Because when we went on the way, they should have do achnas orchim. They should have given us something to eat on the way. Instead of it, they rejected us. Says Hashem says, if that's the meat that they have, they don't understand what achnas orchim is, I don't want gerim from them. Yeah? Rabbi Yochanan did the Omar, Merechekes sakrovim u'mekareves archoikim u'ma'alemes ayin min hareshoim u'masher shchino al navi abal. Meaning there's a lot of miles to achnas orchim. Hashem sometimes somebody don't does mitzvah. Hashem someone overlooked for his mistakes. And he says, "V'shkegosa ela zodan." Somebody make by mistake, even he doesn't do achnas orchim. It's like zodan. Now, merechekes sakrovim. It rejects even people that close to us. Amoyin u'moyov. Amoyin u'moyov. Merechekes. Amoyin. I'm saying, yeah. Amoyin u'moyov. Merechekes. Why? They are our relatives because they're from Lot. Lot is the nephew of Avraham. We were Kroivim. We have some mishpacha. We have some mishpacha kurva. We have some kind of relation. But I don't want them because they didn't do achnas sorchim. Umekareves archoikim. But doing achnas sorchim could merachik as a mekareves archoikim. Today, by the way, it translates today. We do a lot of kiruv archoikim through to such a social setting. They come in. They see a nice Shabbat. They see a lot of people start becoming from and Shomer Shabbos because seeing such a nice achnas orchim, where we see the mekareves archoikim by Israel. The Omar Rav Yochanan, B'schar kiren lo v'yechal lochem zochu b'nebon avishу b'lishkas hakadosh. Moshe Rabbeinu ran away to Midian. They told their father Yisro, he says, Ish Mitzri Salonim Yodom. The father says, why did you let them go? Kiren lo v'yechal lechem. He should come. I mean, the pashtus. I would offer him a meal. I would offer him something to eat. And that's good that he wanted to offer him a meal, which is later on they called him back. But that's good. He became very close to Klal. Made the Giur and Bonov became big people. Yoshua Belishkas Agozim. So you see from here, there is. Okay, you could say that also talks over there about such a achnas orchim that they need you now. They have nowhere else to eat now. It's not like a neighbor. He could eat in his house. He's coming to you to hang out with you. Those people were in this scenario. Moshe was a stranger in Midian, and we were on the way. We could have used some help. But maybe talks about, but for the concept there is such a also Indian that maybe it's not as a big mitzvah if somebody is desperate for your achnus orchim, if somebody is on the way, but there is such an Indian. For example, if you invited your friend, you become better friend with him. It's an Indian to it. It could bring some benefits. V'horaya at Purim, we have Matonas Levyonim, which is dead desperate for our help, and Mishlach Manas Ish L'Re'eu. What's Mishlach Manas Ish L'Re'eu? They need your help? No, but it increases friendship. So maybe there is a shtickle mitzvah over here too, to invite for a social setting. But the main mitzvah Chnas Orchim is when you provide somebody to somebody that he really needs it now. Like I said, somebody giving him a ride when it's raining or snowing or hot outside and he's walking, you give him a ride. He needs it now. That's a big... Same thing over here. Somebody come out of town, he could use your help now. That's a real Achnas Orchim. So again, to conclude, there's no posting in Torah, do Achnas Orchim. There's no... the Rabbanon don't say mitzvahs Esser like we have Neres Chanukah, the Rabbanon. But we see it's a good in Achra Hashem Lekem Telecho, it's Mitzat Chasodei Hashem, to do Achnas Orchim. The highest level of Achnas Orchim, you take somebody with a full stay, when you're really helping him. And other levels, maybe it's not such a big mitzvah as this, but it's not big enough to push away Shvus the Rabbanon. But the Inyan on its own, it's also has Chashivas Gedolah Alagima Shemakareves Alababas.